I'm Staram Kadas 24707 from BS Education Semester 4. Today I will present the topic Elements of Comparative Education, in which we will discuss elements of comparative education, facilities, educational structure, administrative and financial setup, teaching education. Facilities of comparative education. Idealism in educational facilities. Qualitative dimensions of idealism in facilities. Philosophical and reflective spaces, classrooms and the study areas designed for deep thinking, such as seminars, rooms for or discuss halls, encourage open dialogue and intellectual debate. Libraries with the classic and philosophical texts, idealist and curricula often emphasize. Qual- Quantitative dimension of idealism in facilities. Assessment and grading facilities. Facilities like test-taking rooms, grading systems, or electronic platforms for assessments enable the assessment of students' intellectual progress and achievement. Libraries and digital resources for academic tracking and sport at least. Curricula may include database and online. Realism in education. Qualitative dimension of realism in education. Curriculum focus. Realism focuses on practical knowledge and objective truth, with an emphasis on subjects like science, mathematics, and technology, which are grounded in observable and verifiable facts. Learning processes. The learning process is empirical, involving observation, experimentation, and experienced students. Quantitative dimension of realism in education. Assessment. Realist education places a high value on objective, measurable assessments such as exams, tests, and other forms of standardized evaluation. Achievement metrics. The success of students in a realistic system is often assessed from through quantitative, administrative and financial setup of comparative education. Administrative setup in comparative education में first qualitative dimension, quantitative dimension. Quantitative dimensions: centralized vs decentralized systems. Centralized education system. In countries like France and Japan, the national government controls most aspects of education, such as curriculum, teachers, qualifications, and assessments. This ensures uniformity in educational standards across the country. Decentralized education systems. Countries like the United States and India have decentralized education systems, where local or regional authorities have significant control over educational policies, curriculums, and funding. This structure allows flexibility but may lead to disparities in education quality. Curriculum control. In centralized system, the government mandates a standardized curriculum for all schools to follow, ensuring national consistency. In decentralized systems, local or regional authorities can adapt the curriculum to meet the specific needs of their communities, which may lead to greater innovation but also possible inequality. Quantitative dimension. Administrative cost. Centralized systems often have lower administrative costs because there is a single governing body managing the system, which can lead to economies of scale. Decentralized systems may have higher administrative costs due to the need for multiple layers of governance local, regional, national, which require coordination and additional oversight. Teacher-student ratios. In centralized systems, the teacher-student ratio may be more consistent across regions because there are national guidelines for teacher deployment. In the in decentralized system, teacher-student ratio can vary significantly depending on the region's resources, leading to disparities in educational quality. Financial setup in comparative education. Qualitative dimension, quantitative dimension. Quantitative dimension. Funding sources. Public funding. Most education systems are funded primarily through public sources, tax revenues. In, in centralized systems, national government control the distribution of educational funds, often prioritizing equity in distribution. Private funding. Many systems also include private funding, etc. Tuition fees in private schools, contributions from private foundation. Countries like the United States and India have a significant private education sector, where areas national like Cuba or Finland depend largely on public funding. Equity in funding. Centralized system may ensure a more equitable distribution of funds with policies designed to minimize disparities between wealthy and poor areas. In decentralized systems, regions or local authorities with more wealth and allocate more resources to education, while poor areas might struggle to provide equality education leading to inequalities. Quantitative dimension. Educational expenditure. The amount of public money spent on education is often measured as a percentage of GDP or total government spending. Countries like Norway and Sweden invest heavily in education, close to 6-7% of GDP, while many developing countries may spend a smaller percentage due to financial constraints. The cost per student is another important measure. The wealthier countries able to spend more per student on teachers' salaries, classroom resources, and infrastructure. Government vs private funding. Government contribution is a central aspect of education finance in most countries. But in countries like the United States, private funding, tuition fees in private schools, endowments, and philanthropic contributions plays a significant role. Teacher education of comparative education. Teacher education and idealism. Qualitative dimension. Psychological foundation. Idealism in education emphasizes the development of the mind, intellect, and the moral varieties. Teacher education programs inspired by idealism focus heavily on the cultivation of critical thinking, moral development. Curriculum and pedagogy. The curriculum for teacher education idealism. Quantitative dimensions. Academic rigor. In an idealist in an idealistic teacher education program, there is a high emphasis on the academic qualifications of future teachers, particularly their deep knowledge in subjects like literature, philosophy, history, and the art. Assessment and evaluation. Teacher candidates in idealism based programs. Teacher education and realism. Qualitative dimension. Philosophical foundation. Realism in education is rooted in the belief that the external world is real and that education should be grounded in the objective reality of the world. Curriculum and pedagogy. The curriculum in a realism based teacher education program will emphasize scientific knowledge. Quantitative dimension. Training and certification requirements. Realist teacher education programs tend to emphasize practical skills in addition to subject knowledge, which is reflected in quantitative standards for certification. Classroom effectiveness. Realism evaluates teachers based on student learning outcomes, test scores, and the effectiveness of teaching methods. Realist. Thank you.